You ever feel like you're drowning while standing on dry land? Like the person who was supposed to be your oxygen just cut the line? 2 years ago, in a rainy coastal town in Oregon, my wife Sarah handed me a legal folder over a cold breakfast. She did not just want a divorce, she wanted the research. 10 years of my life spent tracking the Silver Star, a lost merchant ship, and she was claiming the coordinates as marital property. Sarah was the lead investigator of our team. She knew exactly where the value was buried. By noon, she had a restraining order barring me from the harbor over a new partner on her boat, my former mentor, Julian. I spent the next month in a rusted trailer by the docks, listening to the waves and eating canned tuna. I was a disgraced treasure hunter with no ship and no soul left. While digging through an old sea chest, my grandfather left me, a man everyone called a delusional beachcomber. I found a heavy, tarnished brass key with a coordinate etched into the metal. It was not for a locker, it was a recovery key for a private vault in a Swiss owned firm in Seattle. When I finally hitched a ride to the city and presented that key, the vault clerk did not just open a box, he called 3 armed guards to escort me to a sub basement. He told me the account had been sleeping for 50 years, waiting for a bloodline match. I am going to tell you what was inside that vault. But first, you need to understand the betrayal. Sarah did not just leave me, she sold our coordinates to a deep sea mining conglomerate. She traded our dream of a museum for a corporate payout. When I saw her at the docks packing her gear, she looked at me like I was the barnacle. She finally scraped off her hull. Julian stood behind her, leaning on the railing of the boat I'd paid for, and told me I was permitted to take my personal dive suit. Permitted, like the ocean was theirs to lease to me. I signed the papers. I did not fight. I let them think they'd taken everything. I took that brass key and drove north. Inside that Seattle vault was not good bars or stacks of cash. It was a deed to a discommissioned naval salvage vessel and a ledger of untraceable maritime bonds worth more than the Silver Star could ever hold. My grandfather was not a beachcomber. He was a silent partner in the world's most successful private recovery firm. He'd lived small so he could leave me the power to choose who I wanted to be. When the world turned its back on me, I did not go back to Oregon to gloat. I went to the San Juan Islands. I bought a shipyard under a shell company. I did not want the Silver Star anymore. I wanted to protect the graveyard. 6 months later, Sarah and Julian were struggling. They'd found the ship, but the legal fees and corporate taxes were eating them alive. The conglomerate was suing them for a failed delivery because the wreck was deeper than their tech could reach. They were desperate. I showed up at a maritime gala in Seattle wearing a suit that cost more than their entire expedition. Sarah approached me, her eyes darting to my watch, my posture, the way people were whispering my name. She tried the old times routine. She told me Julian was a mistake, that she missed the thrill of the hunt with me. She even hinted that we could merge our interests to finally raise the star. I looked her in the eye and told her the truth. I'd already bought the mineral rights to the seabed where the silver star sat. I was not going to raise it. I was turning it into a protected historical sanctuary. There would be no payout, no corporate bonuses, just a wreck at the bottom of the sea where it belonged. She looked at me like I was insane. You are sitting on a fortune and you are just leaving it there. I am not sitting on it. I told her. I am standing on it. The real twist, I did not win because I got the money. I won because when she offered to come back, I realized I did not even want an apology. I wanted the silence. I used the rest of the bonds to fund a school for marine biology named after my grandfather. Now I spent my days on the deck of the relentless, teaching kids how to respect the ocean instead of how to rob it. Sarah and Julian are still tied up in lawsuits, fighting over the scraps for a dream they poisoned. Sometimes you have to let people think you are sink they have sunk you just so you can see who's willing to dive down and pull you up. And if no one comes, you learn how to breathe underwater. If you ever had to rebuild from the wreckage, let me know in the comments. Subscribe for the next one.